Hello, I am Holly McDonald, and tonight I am here to chat with you about the hot market that we're in here in Orange County, as well as to share some empathy for buyers because this is a really intense market. I know buyers are looking for all sorts of tricks to stand out and to understand the market and how they can really set themselves apart. And in this video, I'm going to give some tips about that, see what I can do to offer some assistance and some hope, and explain why the market is what it is. Because a lot of buyers are conditioned to think that they can come in and they can haggle and they can lowball and they can negotiate. And in some markets, that's true. But we are not in that time right now in Orange County in most price points. And so let me share some context with you. So if you're just getting out there to look at the houses that are available, you have a little bit of context, you understand what's going on, and you can be a little bit more savvy in your home searching experience. So let me start off by saying that today, unfortunately, I had to give bad news to a buyer. And it's not the first time because this market is one where in certain price ranges, we are seeing homes get 3 offers, 5 offers, 10 offers, 16 offers. Like, it's insane. It does depend on the house. It does depend on the location, the condition, the timing. There are so many factors. But the fact is that right now, there is a lack of inventory and there is a surge of buyers. And buyers are out there and they're just aching to get a great house at a good price, but they're not afraid to overpay right now. By overpay, I mean they are willing to offer above asking price. And in most cases, that's what it's going to take to get your offer noticed and accepted. Buyers right now, with there being so much competition, they are quickly realizing that sellers are looking for a good price. Now, that may not be the only thing they're looking for. There are a lot of things they are looking for. And we will talk about some of those things, but price is definitely going to be one of the most attention-getting factors in any offer scenario that we are coming across right now. So, like I said, I had a client today who has been outbid on several properties. It is deflating and depressing to be in that situation. I can relate, I can understand and empathize. And it's hard to just tell people that that is just what the market is. Obviously, a lot of emotion goes into it, and rushing out there to go look at a house and then getting your heart set on it and then going through the motions of making an offer and hoping that it will work out and then having it not get accepted is traumatic, to say the least. So buyers, I want to caution you that this is, don't take it personally, I guess is the best way to start. I guess let me say that if you were a seller and you had your pick of offers, you're going to probably pick the highest offer or the best offer. So that's the type of market that we're in. And the best offer isn't always the highest offer, but in many cases it is. So right now, with so many homes getting multiple offers, it's no surprise that homes are going for skyrocketing prices. And there's a lot of things to think about as a buyer for how to make your offer stand out. So let's start with a few things that you need to know about making an offer in this current market. First off, in order to stand out, you're going to want to look at the price, and you're not going to want to lowball. Right now, lowball offers are just getting tossed aside. They're not even being considered. This is a very general conversation. Now, there are always exceptions to the rule, but I will say 95% of homes right now are going for at least full price. Many are going for above full price, especially if they're getting 5+ offers. It's like, no doubt, they're going for above asking price. As a buyer, you really want to be aggressive with your offers. You want to make your offer clean, meaning you're asking for very little. You're making yourself look like a quality buyer who's going to give the seller very little headache. You want to make your offer quick. Your timelines need to be fast. And in our current offers, the default is for a 17-day contingency period. So that's where you get to go ahead and do your inspections, appraisal, review disclosures, and all of that fun stuff, and then sign off that you're moving forward. And then you have 21 days to get your loan approved and remove that contingency, and typically a 30-day escrow. Well, in this market, that's not always cutting it. I'm seeing lots of people offer shorter escrow periods if they think that that will appeal to the seller. So if the seller needs their money quickly, or or say the home is vacant, obviously faster is better. As far as timeframes go, I'm seeing so many people shorten their timeframes for inspections. Inspections are obviously a very important part of the offer process, but the faster you can get things done, it shows that you are more committed. It also gives the seller more confidence that if you were going to back out for any reason, it would be done as soon as possible. So that way they can move on if you're not going to be moving forward with them. As far as financing goes, there are every lender is different, and you're going to want to talk to your lender about how fast they can move. I am seeing in this market that if your lender is able to perform faster and offer shorter timeframes, that gives the seller more assurance that they're going to be 100% all in with you much sooner, and also just assurance that the deal will go smoother. So I am seeing people shorten their appraisal contingencies. I'm seeing people shorten their loan contingencies. In fact, in some cases, I'm seeing people remove these contingencies. It really depends on where you're at in the process and how confident your lender is in the file. I can't advise you necessarily on that because it really does depend on your situation and your lender, but that's certainly a conversation you can have with your lender. And if your lender says that you can remove some of these and you're comfortable with that, then that is certainly something that you might want to put into an offer to make your offer look that much better. Since we are obviously in a seller's market, you want to make your offer just as appealing as possible. So I am seeing some people offer to buy homes in as-is condition. They're still typically doing inspections, of course, because you do want to know exactly what you're getting into. But you're not going to ask the seller for repairs or credits and try to renegotiate after the fact. Sellers in this market, when they have so much interest, they want to be as sure as possible that they are picking the best offer. That is the offer that will offer them the least amount of resistance. I am also seeing some sellers even be proactive in going ahead and getting inspections done ahead of time, so that way they can present them to the buyers can make their best and final offer, and then the seller really kind of has everything on the table and knows that this buyer is going to perform. This buyer is all in. They've already done, their homework. So those are some things that can be done. I've seen buyers speed up their inspections to very, very short time frames. And in all honesty, there are great inspectors out there. There's plenty of them. And if you are able to move very quickly, the seller might be more inclined to take your offer, knowing that you are stepping it up. It might give them more confidence that you are so committed that you're just going to get things done fast. And the faster you can move, then the faster the deal will move. And then the seller can move, and that's their ultimate goal. So in this market, I am definitely seeing buyers need to learn kind of what's happening. This is an unusual market. And as I said earlier, a lot of buyers are conditioned to think, okay, if a home is asking $700,000, let's go in and offer $675,000, or something like that. People just think that there's room on the prices. And yeah, at certain times there is. But right now, with the market being what it is, with the inventory being so low, and with there being so many buyers and interest rates being so favorable, we are just not seeing that. We are seeing the opposite. We are seeing a house that's asking 700, maybe go for 720 or more. It very much depends on the scenario. But what I really encourage buyers to do right now, as the market is changing, as the market is heating up, I'm encouraging buyers to take a look at what's been selling most recently. The market is evolving. We are getting closer to the spring, which is typically a hotter time. But even if you look back at the last month or the last, week and a half, you can see if homes are selling for above asking price. You may not know about the homes that are currently in escrow, but you can certainly reach out or have your agent reach out. That's probably more ideal. Have them reach out and find out, how was the competition on this house that looks so great? Did that house get 10 offers? Did it go for way above asking price? What's the story here? We're in a market where if a home isn't getting multiple offers, it may not sell for above asking price. It may not. A lot of sellers are holding quite firm though. if their house is priced well, they will more than likely obtain what they're seeking or very, very close to it. But in the price points below $1 million, mostly we are seeing homes fly off the market. They are going so fast. And so another thing that buyers need to know is they need to get out there as quickly as possible. Homes are coming on the market and literally selling in like 3 days, meaning they've already had multiple offers in 3 days. So if buying a home is priority to you, then you need to make sure that you clear your schedule and get out there to see the house as soon as you can. Show that you're super motivated. Do the best you can to put that into place in your offer by making your offer as clean and presentable as possible with the shortest timeframes that you are comfortable with. Those are really, really important right now. You want to make sure that the seller and the listing agent realize that you are going to be the buyer for them, the buyer that they've been hoping for. Let's talk a little bit about financing. So as far as offers go, there are a few ways to stand out. As I said earlier, price is obviously going to be one of the most important. In this market, there are cash buyers, of course, but there's a ton of people getting financing because the rates are so good and people don't want to miss out on a low interest rate when they can keep their money in, stocks or other avenues, but they can borrow the money so affordably. So we are seeing a lot more financing going on, but at the end of the day, a buyer that has a larger down payment typically looks a little safer to the seller. Does that mean they're getting a discount? Not necessarily. In this market still, if you had a house listed for $700,000 and a cash buyer offered you $700,000, but you had another buyer offer you $730,000, that's a lot of money left on the table. Most sellers are going to be drawn to that higher number. So the cash buyers have to also up the ante. And I am seeing a lot of homes sell to cash buyers for prices that are much higher than you would expect a cash buyer to get, because everybody thinks the cash buyers are going to get the discount. They might get a minimal discount in this market, but if you are a buyer with a lesser amount down and realize that that may not look as strong to a seller, putting you in a weaker position, then to up the ante, you do need to elevate your price. That may not always work, but it's certainly something that will help. It's something you can keep in your wheelhouse and know that a higher price will certainly entice a seller. Let's see, when you are buying a home in this market, you also want to jump through hoops a little bit. You're going to have to. I mean, you have to come out strong and then realize that coming out strong doesn't necessarily mean that that's the strongest you're going to be. You might be submitting what you think is your highest offer just to get attention, and then find out that you're being requested to submit your best and highest offer, and then you're going to have to up the ante even more. It's just the nature of the market right now. I understand it's not like ideal for buyers, and I get that it's frustrating, and I understand that a lot of buyers may be wanting to take a break and see, what happens down the road. Obviously, we don't know for sure what will happen, but based on what the economics of our time are suggesting, we've got really low interest rates, really low inventory. The market is it's a formula that we're going to see prices stay high, and they are quite high. They're higher than I've seen. So we're going to see that continue unless all of a sudden everybody were to throw their house on the market, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen. We have really a good formula for prices to continue to stay strong. So taking time off may not be the best solution, and with the rates being at some of the lowest they've ever been, it's really hard not to want to take the plunge right now, because there's no guarantee they're going to stay low forever. Obviously, like just last year, they were about a point higher than they are now, and they could obviously go way higher. So locking in the interest rate now, getting a good, even if you're paying maybe higher than you wanted to spend or higher than you would have paid last year, but you're getting a lower interest rate now, you got to look at what the market has to offer now. So I get that it can be discouraging, but I would suggest you just keep at it, because if you do, and you do find a house that you love, that you're going to be in for a while, and you can secure a low interest rate, then you're really going to be in good shape. And you're not going to be paying for rent. You're gonna, just have your asset and it's gonna make equity for you over time. What is working? So I've been fortunate enough to be on the side where I've represented the buyer who's had the working situation, and I've also been on the side of, a seller who's obtained multiple offers, and I can tell you what's been working for those people. So what's working? Overbidding. So getting a high offer out there. Sellers are not stupid. So, some sellers are listing their home for a price that will, attract multiple offers. They're setting their price at a point where they know this is going to create competition. We're going to get 10 offers if we do this. But by doing that, they're also, mentally prepared for a much higher price. So if you see a house and it seems like the price is really good, the seller is probably very aware of that and using that as a tactical strategy. So be prepared to go in with a strong offer because other buyers are also going to be going in with strong offers. Other things that are working, removing or shortening your contingency periods. As I discussed earlier, if you can shorten your timeframes at all as far as inspections or remove contingencies that you feel comfortable with, that certainly works because it gets the seller's attention. The seller realizes that you are more, more likely to proceed, and you're also more likely to proceed quickly. And if there were going to be any problems, they would have the opportunity to either cancel the escrow or for you to cancel the escrow sooner. And then it's less time is lost and they can go back on to their backup offers and, it's a better situation for them. Lenders and agents can also help you in this process, to stand out. If your lender is really proactive and can call the listing agent and kind of sell you and explain your financial status, that's awesome. And if your agent is able to call as well and kind of pitch you and why you're the best buyer for this house, you are so committed to this house, this neighborhood, you've been looking and you're just so perfect. That helps a lot too. It gives a little bit of a personal touch so that they understand that you are the good buyer for them. A lot of people don't do that, and it really does help. Sometimes sellers are going to come back with a counter offer asking for the buyers to accept the home as is because once they're kind of in a position where they have the power and they've got multiple offers, why wouldn't they want to make it as easy as possible and, not want to agree to repairs or credits after the fact? If you can agree to that, great. I know some people are not comfortable with that, but it is something that will obviously make you stand out because it just shows that you are less inclined to be a headache down the road. And then of course, if you do that, then you always have the opportunity to do an inspection. And if there's something that you're really unsettled about, you could cancel. Or, you might be able to go back to the table, but there's no guarantees. It's just another way to make your offer look like it's going to be less of a headache. There are other little tips and tricks of the trade. I can't share everything in this video. And like I said at the beginning, not all of these tricks are going to work. There's always going to be the best buyer for a house, and that's the one that's ultimately going to get their offer accepted. But to even have a chance, you do need to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward. And I just want to emphasize again, this is a tough market. If you're buying, it's a great time to buy. That's why it's a tough market. People want to get in and, they want to witness the appreciation. They want to get the low interest rate. That's why everybody's rushing to buy. But the issue is that there's just not a lot of inventory. And I know that's frustrating. And that's why each home is getting so much activity so quickly. Depending on your situation, I know it's frustrating. And, I've certainly been calling agents on behalf of my clients who want to know before they even get there, is this going to be a bidding war? I would say in most cases, it's going to be a bidding war right now, depending on your price point and the condition of the property. Just Orange County right now is really, it's a hot market. Sellers are doing really well. So good news for you if you're a seller, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. We can talk more about that if you have any specific questions about your home. But if you're a buyer, I just want to encourage you that this is a great time to buy. If you can get a really good loan right now, that's awesome, but you have to figure out the best way to position yourself so that a seller feels comfortable moving forward with you. I would just say, you know, honestly, just give it your all. And also don't be thinking that you can get a really hot deal right now, because it's like almost impossible right now. The only case in which that might happen really is if a home has been on the market for a little while, then there might be an opportunity. Because honestly, if a home is not getting multiple offers and it is in one of those price points and locations where you should be, then you have to almost wonder, like, what am I missing? What's wrong with this house? So if a home's been on the market for, you know, 3 weeks or something like that, in this market, that's a long time, and you might be able to get a deal. You definitely want to find out a little bit more about the property and what the story is with the sellers. The sellers might just be set on a price and they might have unrealistic expectations, but there could be something else going on. It could just be overpriced, or the home may have some negative features to it that you need to take into consideration, and maybe that would be a good opportunity for you. But in general, a new listing hitting the market right now, I can guarantee you it's getting multiple phone calls, multiple showings, most likely multiple offers. And if you're gonna go in there, you have to be realistic. I know it's tough for buyers. I've been a buyer and I've certainly helped a number of buyers, and I hate giving people bad news. So I've been trying really hard to come up with different formulas that are going to work for my clients to really set them apart. There are other services that I offer that kind of go above and beyond that, but if you are not working with an agent and want to talk a little bit further about what you're looking for in the market, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to chat with you. But just know that if you are a buyer right now, there is a really good reason why the market is so hot. And I can appreciate you wanting to jump in. I admire that, and I think it's awesome, but just don't fall in love with any houses. And if you do, then just be prepared to go way above and beyond to make your offer stand out so that the seller selects you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or message me directly. And I look forward to helping you. You know, it's a great market, and Orange County is a great place to be. So any questions? Feel free to message me. Let's see. Okay, Corey, hi. Let's see. Is there any way to establish a personal connection with a seller as part of the process to find connection? That's a great question. So sometimes you have to look for clues a little bit. So I would say if you are touring a property and the seller is still living there, you might be able to get a feel for the seller. You know, maybe I've had clients that have really made a connection based on different aspects of the house that they like. If they found out that the seller did a remodel and there are things that the buyer and the seller have very similar tastes on, that's always good. We are, you know, some buyers will go ahead and write a little letter to the seller, just complimenting what they like. And if that's not your thing, then your agent can certainly convey that to the agent in another way as well. Let's see, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. What else is here? Yeah, I think, okay, I do think that is a great way to try to improve your chances. If you're able to make a connection, maybe it could also be, I've had clients that have really appreciated, say they have a dog, you know, and the seller has a dog. They're able to draw a correlation between that too and say I love the way, you know, you've got this great yard for a dog. I have a dog too, and I was looking for something just like this. That's another way, but it's hard for the buyer to directly impact the seller, but a note is a nice way to do it, and that can be included in an offer package. We do have to be careful what we say in the letters right now. There are some guidelines. I can certainly give you some suggestions, but that is a great way to set yourself apart. Absolutely. Again, my name is Holly McDonald. You can reach me by text at 714-928-4682. My email is hmcdonald@villarealestate.com as well. And you can always message me through Facebook. I appreciate you watching. I hope you got some good information. This is a challenging market. Don't let it get you down. I mean, let it bring you up, because honestly, if you're able to buy something in this market, first of all, you're a winner because you're going to be beating out other people, and you're also going to get in at a time that is really, it's really phenomenal. So thank you for watching and have a good night.